So what does the future hold under a Conservative government? Opponents say it means another 5 years of even tougher austerity. The Office for Budget Responsibility has said that if the Tories implement their plans, that will mean cuts of more than 5% in the next 2 financial years, twice the size made in one single year so far. A large volume of reductions will hit the welfare system. £12 billion of savings have been pledged there. Well, we cross over now live to RT's Harry Fear. He is in Liverpool. So, Harry, Cameron has come in with a clear mandate to continue and, of course, even accelerate austerity. So can you tell us a bit more about what the feeling is there, what people can expect is going to come to them in the future?
Well, it seems, Bill, we have truly moved from Lib-Con-style austerity to austerity max, if you will, it seems, to full-con austerity. You asked what is to come. Well, billions of pounds of more cuts, including to prized public services, including to those here in the north of England. And all of this is due to happen over the next 5 years with a 37% of the votes mandate for the Tory party. Now, I just want to show you over to my left here is this historic building, and it's currently being occupied by far leftist activists who are against the existing cuts that we've seen over the last few years. They've been here for some time now, and these activists, like swathes of other movements and groups, now find themselves against a Tory majority government, unmitigated by any Liberal Democrats or those of any other party.
So what about the results there in Liverpool? Tell us more about those and what the reaction has been to them.
Well, Liverpool has been held as solidly red for Labour. I have to say, Bill, the weather here pretty much sums up the mood, unfortunately. People here in Liverpool and in the northwest generally didn't vote for what is to come. They generally voted for Labour. They were turned on by promises to increase the national minimum wage, to promote a living wage. In fact, they voted to promote the slowing down of those deficit-busting cuts. Now, people we've been speaking to here today are concerned about the future. They're concerned about at what cost this accelerated deficit-busting cuts will come at. How many more homeless will they see here on the streets of Liverpool city centre? How many more food banks will have to be set up here in Liverpool? And also, generally, for the ordinary average working person, what bite should they be expecting to their quality of life?
Harry, thanks very much indeed for that. That's RT UK's Harry Fear reporting live. Prem Sikka, he's Professor of Accounting at the Centre for Global Accountability, and he says further austerity is unnecessary.
If we look at the government's own figures, about £35 billion of tax revenues a year are not being collected, which is nearly 3 times the annual proposed cut. And if you look at the alternative estimates of how much tax revenue is going astray each year through avoidance, evasion, or simply not being collected, it's running to about £120 billion a year. So even if we accept the government's own figures, 35 billion a year, that would mean that the cuts are simply not necessary. And then there is also a related aspect that the government is giving subsidies to corporations of about £85 billion a year. Now, if we were to cut back on that, for example, to railway companies, to BT, to Tate & Lyle and many other companies who receive these subsidies, that would drastically reduce the need for the austerity cuts. Governments generally have been in awe of giant corporations because corporations frequently would say, if you change this or that tax law, we are off. But actually we are talking about a social emergency because a lot of people's livelihoods and welfare is at an issue. Obviously a lot of ordinary people will be comforted by the fact that the government is going to raise the tax-free income allowance for them. That would help them. Government has promised that it will not raise the basic rate of income tax and national insurance contributions.